So you know I'm paid in full.
Hey, what's going on? It's another 180 Creator interview. I'm your host, Joe Teel, and I got another great guest, Stevon Remson. What's going on?
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man.
It's good. Thank you for having me here.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm excited. I love wrestling. I love talking about it, and we'll see what we can get into, man. So how did you get into wrestling?
So, unlike most people who try to say they grew up watching wrestling with their grandparents or their parents or some type of typical thing you normally hear, I honestly was not interested in wrestling at all. My family is a fighting background. My dad was a boxer. A lot of my family did some type of athletics. So growing up in the 90s, wrestling was fake. So that's all was preached to me. I didn't really care for it. The first match I seen, which is funny enough, was the person who I got trained by, was Gold Dust versus Rodney Piper. I believe it was WrestleMania 10 or 12. One of the other ones, but they reused the whole, what's that, man? It's the O.J. Simpson chasing down with a street fight. And they have the whole fight in the street. I was like, what is going on? It was wild. But I didn't really pay attention to it. I didn't start trying to watch wrestling until I was 12, going on 13. I went across the street to a friend's house, and they was finally watching it on Sunday. And it was Sunday Night Heat, 99, and The Rock came out. Never seen this guy a day in my life. And seen a black dude look like Elvis in glasses and just talking in third person. And then he gets on top and he cuts his whole promo. And this is the one we talked about Billy Gunn saying, I just won King of the Ring, but there's a problem. Everybody absolutely thinks I suck. And he's praying to God and said, then like the roof broke open, piss rolled down your leg, and you heard a voice come out and say, Bob, but my name is, it doesn't matter what your name is. And get the whole thing. And I was like, what? So I'm a 12-year-old going 13. I'm hooked. And I started watching it. Eventually I got my pops watching it, but The Rock got me to watch wrestling. And I started seeing the athleticism and then the acting. And I was like, okay, I like this. And when I found out something I like, I started doing research. And that's just when internet first started really getting booming in the early 2000s. So I was just going to all the chats to find out any little secrets. This is when the dirt sheets first started happening. I was one of those people that used to try to look, and I got into it. I eventually started wrestling in high schools too. I joined the Marine Corps. I tried to do it while I was first joining the Marine Corps in 2004. Tried to do it a few times. I went up this place in Virginia, Newport News. Trained first couple of weekends. I was actually caught on really good, really athletic. A lot of the flips and falls, break falls we learned in martial arts and in the Marine Corps. Once I started getting deployed and then doing field ops and things, kind of got out of wrestling and I was just focused on the military. I got hurt, exited the military in 2014. I was up to 400 pounds because of just on medication, depressed, PTSD. I went through a bad divorce. Eventually got in 2018, got myself in shape to the best I can, started training, personal training, got into strongman competitions and powerlifting. Found my way in Texas during COVID season. Then decided, I want to try to do wrestling. I'm moving better, I'm trying to do this. And funny thing, I ended up hurting myself before I started doing wrestling training in Dallas, this place called MPS, Metropolis Wrestling. So I couldn't really train that much often there. Then I moved to East Texas, went with League of Lions. Done my first match, wrestled a few times, eventually meet Darby, and then I went to the Rhodes Wrestling Academy, and this is when I felt I really got my training and what I really actually accomplished. Rhodes Wrestling Academy is Dustin Rhodes, Gold Dust.
Yeah,
like I said, it's kind of like
cool.
a full circle thing. The first match I seen was just crazy. Not sure, crazy. I don't want to curse. Crazy butt match between this and then I'm getting
You
trained.
can curse, but that's not part of your character.
No, I didn't know I could curse now. Crazy ass match.
Yeah, dude, I'll be saying some wild shit on here, dude.
Okay, yeah, the crazy ass fucking match, seeing that shit. I was like, okay. And now I'm getting trained by this guy that the first match I seen was something that made me not want to watch wrestling.
Yeah.
And it was cool. Me and him, legend. And I learned so much about the business itself and understanding how things work and why we do things. And like something you hear a lot is like somebody would tell you how something's going and you hear the same phrase, but it don't click in your head. That's when stuff just started really clicking. Like everything I heard from people who I wrestled before or I tried training before, it never really clicked. But when I was there and taking time and actually just shut up and listen, stuff started clicking, started moving. And then when I graduated, that's when I feel like my career really started, which was November 2022. And fast forward later, I'm living my dream, doing stuff that I never thought I was going to be able to do.
Hell yeah.
I feel like I have a chance to go further than that. And now representing Texarkana as champion.
Come on. The Texarkana, television champion?
Yes, sir.
Come on. I like that. Is it hard to get into those type of, like, the wrestling training deal, or anybody just go show up and do it, or how does that work?
That's a two-part question. So the thing is, you have places around here that will get people that's not fully trained, and then those people will open up schools, and then those people go to those schools, and they're not fully trained. It's an ongoing cycle. So anybody who wants to go to training, you should always find a reputable school, somewhere that you get a name, somewhere that shows product or has some, like, graphics, for one, make a big difference. You'll see if they can't afford graphics, then they can't afford to actually really train you. You can't go there. I wouldn't say anything. Most places that are shitty, their product they produce is shitty. Yeah. Very rare that I see like a premium place put bad graphics or bad wording or unprofessional feel. So find some place that seems professional, look professional. And so when I went to Rose Wrestling Academy, I couldn't really finish my training in Metroplex because of injuries and then family, being a stepfather and things like that. Never finished really training there. I was there for almost a year, missed a lot of times. It is what it is. When I finally got really trained was Rose Wrestling Academy. And that made a big difference, because if you don't know what you're doing, like, I learned how to do moves, but I didn't have the time or reps to figure out what I was doing. And a lot of guys, honestly, that's all they do is just do moves. And then
you could get hurt. You could get hurt, huh? Or hurt somebody else if you don't know what you're doing, huh?
100%. I told you I got hurt. Fucked my shoulders up during training.
Yeah, right.
And still trying to push through it. I had I had a impingement in my right shoulder, and then overcompensating and getting an impingement in my left shoulder. And then, like, all my muscle mass from strongman stuff just went away because I'm still trying to move and go. Couldn't even bench. I couldn't even lift my arm past this point, let alone bench or do anything like that. I didn't start feeling good until like almost a year and a half later. And then finally started going away, and I was like, all right, now I can start lifting again and start doing stuff.
Yeah.
But
sheesh. The training part of it. Well, people say, like you've already said it once. Your original thought about wrestling was like, it's fake. And by fake, you mean like it's scripted to an extent, right?
Which is, I hate that word. But
you don't like that word neither. But it's an extremely athletic deal, and you're going to get hurt like every match, right?
Yeah, it's a chance, a possibility. And you've seen my matches. You hear the sound when I hit people.
Right.
Do you see me slapping my thigh?
Yeah, so you're really hit. So, I mean, you're going to get slapped. You're going to get
hit. So this area we get trained to take it. That area gets trained to take it. It's not ballet. Sometimes things happen. You may slip. I've slipped a few times. The reason I don't like throwing punches, because I used to box, and I don't.
Yeah, you hit somebody for real, huh?
Yeah. I've knocked down one of my trainers before, and then Chris Preston, we was trying to work on my punches, and did not connect. It wasn't close. It's a technique we have to do with punches. Not going to explain it, but when I hit him just right at the sweet spot already, just drop down. But also, I can take hits. Most of the time, these guys don't really put much power behind their hits. I feel like
that's a call out too.
This thing called laying stuff in. No, you're not out there intentionally trying to hit somebody.
Right.
But one thing I can definitely tell you, from all the greats that I see that's made it to the upper echelon, I feel like if you get to a point where you're in this business, if you're just doing it for fun, that's cool. But if you are in this trying to do something, you are trying to reach the upper echelon. Nobody told Steve Austin that, hey, you need to lay off. And he would tell people that he's a little stiff with it, but he's not going to hurt you with anything like that. But go ahead and snug into it, but he's not stiffing you. Just a little snug into it, but that's about it. You won't feel contact. You see people like Triple H and like that, they're not just doing it. You got some people that's like masters of it, like Ric Flair, who would spend hours trying to hit a brick wall at the point where he knew how to throw that punch that he would never touch, but he also like it hit connect. I've been trying to work on that too. I'm good at doing forearms, and I can jab well because that's something I just know how to control from that without my right hand. Usually just try to knock somebody out. Jab is probing, measuring. There's different ways I can just move around. So most of my strikes are just forearms, clubs, and the elbow, shoulder tackles. Because in wrestling, though, people get this one rule that people forget about. It's supposed to be no closed fist. And the Attitude Era kind of helped push that away, that people forget that you're not supposed to do a closed fist. So one of these days, if I do a closed fist, I want to make it actually mean something. But
have you ever got hit by a closed fist from somebody in a wrestling match?
Once, but it was an accident. I knew they wasn't doing it on purpose. The first thing they said is, "I'm sorry." Just go like.
Is there like a dialogue between you and the other wrestler while y'all are wrestling?
We talk. We just walk and talk. We will move. We discuss what's going on. with the situations, and that's how it's not necessarily fully scripted.
Okay.
It's about understanding the feeling with the crowd. We're trying to put you through an emotional ride, and all the same time make it realistic.
Right.
That's at least the ideal of it. So I can do things and move around, and the better I get, like people like Jerry Lawler has been told that it sounds like you've never seen his mouth move, but you know how to do, can't say that word, but you know, have the dummy and stuff. He can throw his voice that you can hear it, but no, his mouth never moved. It's just certain ways. Some people just had shorthand, and it's just dialogue that we're talking. You're not supposed to hear, you can't hear, and we're just moving around there. Now you hear John Cena, so that's no problem talking about that because everybody hears John Cena calling out things. So
yeah,
it's weird because you try to keep kayfabe, you try to keep secrets not out there and not fully explain, which I'm not trying to go fully in depth, but I'm also not, I don't feel like insulting anybody's intelligence. Everybody can look up most of the stuff that I'm talking about. Everybody usually has a general idea now. Like what people thought in early 2004 compared to now, a lot of people actually understand. And like most of the time, like AEW's drama was going on behind the scenes is more popular than what's happening in
the actual wrestling match.
This is really legitimately open the door. Oh, I'm seeing exactly what you're doing type behind the scenes stuff. So I always try to keep kayfabe or close to who I am. But at the same time, I don't believe in insulting anybody's intelligence. So when I do explain things, I may not give full in depth, but I will try to answer it the best I can.
Right.
Going forward.
Yeah. But while y'all are out there, like in the ring, and it's like, okay, so what we need to end the match. Like, is there some type of you sending codes to each other, or like, or how? So it's not the whole match isn't choreographed, right? Or is it?
So refs. Not all places are blessed with this. I'm going to use WWE, and there are places in these that use this, but refs have an earpiece. So let's say we're going over time. That's a slated time. They will let you know at a certain time, like, hey, we got to go home, or something's happening, or we're out there. And depending on its experience level, who's a veteran, somebody, that's something I'm actually starting to learn. If I can feel like the crowd's gone or need to change it up just based on how the crowd's feeling, then audible, we go in, boom, boom. But mostly on the time, if we could sense it, I'm getting to the point where now that I can sense how long I'm in the ring, get an idea of sensing the time, what I'm doing, and stuff like that. Because everything's based on the time of schedule. So that's usually what it deals with, or something gets audible, it has to happen, or somebody gets hurt.
Wrap it up. Let's.
Like something like, for instance, like when Steve Austin got hurt against Owen Hart, and this was paralyzed the neck from that kind of had an audible to try to go home. He somehow managed, even though his neck was messed up, to roll up for a pin, but they had audible. They just went home from there.
I've always wondered stuff like this, and I never actually just started Googling like the behind the scenes of like what happens in the ring, you know, how it runs smooth. But the decision about who wins and all that stuff that
goes to the booker of the show. So in wrestling, I'm a very old school guy, so a lot of things I'll compare is mostly old school. Nowadays, it's a little different for a lot of places. So back in the day, Mid-South style wrestling or territories, you had the promoter, and that's all the person did, the owner, promoter. All they did was promote, and that's it. They did the show, they were the money person. You never really see the person. It's like the Robert Kraft of the Patriots. Everybody know who Robert Kraft is. You never see him. Then you had the booker who controlled everything, i.e. that would be Bill Belichick. That was the one who picked who was going to wrestle. That was going to be the one who paid how much the person was worth. They're the one who decided stories. They're the ones who went and picked all the shows. They pretty much was the CEO running it while the owner and the president did whatever they want to do. And usually the booker would tell a story they want to try them telling, because stories is what drives people's attention and grab it. Before it was competition, but now people want more drama. Like when you had people like Gorgeous George, it was like early 50s started coming out. So based on the story, based on what they're trying to get you, that's who decides who's going to win, who's going to lose. Now, a lot of people get this thing of not feeling like the person gets over with losing, but if a person tells the story correctly, you can get over losing. There's guys that Stone Cold lost to Bret Hart at WrestleMania 13 in the I Quit match, basically a submission match. It was a submission match, but you're trying to say I quit, he just passed out. He lost. Because of that loss, he became bigger than he ever was up to that point. And he was already steadily growing, but the way he lost and how he lost was kind of blew him out there. So sometimes you losing, depending on what the story is, can make you a bigger star than what he was you win. And the bookers do it based on that. And then they listen to the crowd. So Another example like that, the Daniel Bryan Yes movement. I know you've heard about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was not the original idea. They had to switch things and do that. Nowadays, you got a promoter, the owner, and they're trying to do everything themselves and write who the book they want to, or then they'll write out whole stories. So
is that what Darby's doing? Or is there somebody above him as far as...
Right now, Darby pretty much does everything he does.
Cool.
Based off of that, he gets ideas, generalizations, and just decides from there. And makes audibles and switches if we need to switch. Basically, there's a lot of things that have switched and changed in the story of Hype and Glory right now. That from like the first 4 to 5 episodes, like a lot of switch that was not the original plan, but that's how things go sometimes.
Yeah. So who are the other cats that I was beefing with that came in? That's another wrestling program. They had like orange shirts on, I think. I'm trying to remember what happened. There was a different tag team group in.
You talk about Old Road Gang with North Texas Wrestling?
Yeah, so that's just a different branch of wrestling.
Yeah, they out in North Dallas, South. Is it South Dallas, North Dallas? Oak Cliff area. They're in Dallas.
South Dallas.
Yeah, South Dallas, yeah.
But don't get me lying. But yeah.
I think it's South Dallas.
Yeah. They stirred the crowd up for sure coming down because it was like they had like the outsider feel, I guess, and then they won. And that one dude was talking shit the whole time. I was like, damn. And he's wearing a fishnet. We was roasting him.
That's my boy Mikey B.
We were roasting that. Like the crowd was roasting him, but he didn't care. Yeah, I guess you had to be like that. So this sounds like a good point to talk about this though. Like, so, well, first let me ask you this. How much do you, so for promoters really getting the booking guy, promoter dude is getting the stories together, how much control are you in of your character?
No, it depends. Honestly, that depends on the show, the promoter himself. Some places, they're going to pretty much say, this is what you are, this is what we want you to be, or we want you to do this, or switch it like that. Other places will ask you, hey, we're thinking about doing this, how do you feel? Some places will talk and work with you. Honestly, depending where you are on that card, meaning if you're the top guy, you usually do have more insight because you're the one that's bringing most of the stuff in there. The lower you are, you shouldn't say anything. When I first started, I never argued against anybody what they said what shows I went to. I was portrayed in a lot of ways that I didn't personally want to get portrayed as, but I always took the opportunity to learn something from it and move. But at the end of the day, I'm an independent contractor. So if somebody pays me and this is the job they tell me I'm doing, that's the job they're telling me to do.
Right.
Then you can get lucky and say, hey, I would like this or suggest it, but you also got to earn that trust first.
Right. So you can earn the right to kind of mold your character a little bit after time.
Yeah.
And you gotta be a yes man at the beginning, huh?
I don't want to say
not a yes man, but you got to go with the flow.
Yeah, just like a normal type of job. Like,
right,
I think this is at the end of the day, it's still business. Like some people really do forget that this is a money business and somebody's paying you so they can make money off of this. And you coming in trying to just live your fantasy and just want to make make-believe and do what you want to do like you're playing with your friends back home again. That don't fly. Yeah. If somebody tell you, hey, once you do this, you can beat in like 90 seconds, lay down. Well, my character doesn't do that. Well, I'm paying you this to do this. There's no argument. Yeah, if you don't want to do it, then this person will. Like, and then that's what I'm saying. If you start doing that and you're doing your job, you're not trying to fuss, you help out, and the crowd start getting, they see you a good worker and start doing that, then they'll start throwing stuff to you and then be like, okay, hey, we like you doing this. How about doing this? Or here's an opportunity for this. And then you start talking and it's just working your way up. And then you try to argue or try to go against it. Nobody's going to say no, that you're wrong for it, but don't be surprised you don't get used.
Yeah. You're going to keep losing matches or embarrassing stuff or just not book, won't even have you, huh? Yeah. You don't, man, I think all the wrestlers, like just for Hype and Glory, which is a small show, as far as like, it's not WWE, obviously, but just getting all that lined up and that, has anybody ever just gone off script and you just like have been in a ring and had to like adjust and they're just like was freestyling, doing their own thing?
It happens from time to time. Like in my short career, I've had happened a few times. Yeah. It just...
What do you do? Like,
it depends on the situation and what's going on. I ain't gonna lie. When I first started happening, this is when I learned how to actually move on the fly instead of trying to memorize every little. Because some guys will just talk every move to move. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this, and they just focus on everything to doing it. Because what's going to happen is if I'm so focused on what's that, and then something messes up, I'm like
lost. Yeah, freeze up moment.
Yeah. So when moments like that happen, you just the more comfortable you are, the better you can clean it up, the better you can catch it. There's been mistakes in a lot of shows I've been on that most people won't catch, or I will actually see that somebody don't really knows, but it's just the way you clean it up. And that's actually how I can tell somebody's their quality of worker they are if they freeze or if they clean up.
Clean it up, yeah. Because you're building, I mean, it's entertainment, you know, you're like you're saying, you're telling the story, and if somebody freezing up, it would take somebody out of it. And then, you know, somebody in the crowd would just start to feel like, oh, well, this is this, you know, this is that. And you want them to forget that it's a show almost, and get them lost in all these guys are beating the hell out of each other. I like that. Yeah, man, that's cool. So let's talk about kind of the way your character has moved. I've only been to 2 of them, but it seems like you're like a villain kind of a little bit, right?
I am what they like to say a bad guy. Yeah. I don't consider myself technically that. But I do present myself in the way of not being liked.
Right. And that's that's what's been designed for you, or?
So that's one of those things that got switched around, and sometimes you just have to do things you got to do. And it's actually just been fun. I look at it this way. My job as a heel, or that's what we call bad guys, is to get the crowd to be invested. Meaning, I want you guys not to like me so much that no matter who I'm going against, you're going to find a way you want to cheer for them, or you want to make them see me and then make you on a ride that you just don't want to like me. Even if you do liking me, I'm doing my job enough that you still want to cheer, because I do get cheers every now and then. I laugh about it. I literally talk crap about people and then they cheer for me. It's funny as hell to me.
So I went, the first Hype and Glory I went to was the May 3rd one. And I didn't know what to expect. I had just interviewed Darby, so he was telling me about it. And I was like, well, this sounds awesome. I'm going to take my kids and my friends. And so I show up. And I think like the first thing that happened, I think you came out with the mic and you just you was talking that shit, boy. You was talking Cash Money shit. And like, it was like towards the crowd. And I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was this type of party.
That's actually when I first doubled. So yeah, you kind of came when I doubled down on being heel. It was being teased and things happened I was doing, but that was like the official.
That was the moment.
When I was
I was there.
Black
there you have
and red shirt, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. No, that was fun.
Yeah, I didn't know how to react to it at first, because like I know there's people that have been watching more leading up to it, and it probably made more sense to them. But I was just like, oh, this is a bad dude. This is their bad guy.
Well, that's another thing I look at is most of our stuff is on social media right now. So obviously, it's every time we have a show, the page grows more, people start following. But I'm not expecting when people show up, we start to get consistent people like you and others. I'm starting to see normally it's throwing up there, but I'm always going to expect new people there. And I always feel as a performer and telling the story, especially this whole thing, I need to go out there and introduce. That's why the last one. You
got to catch them up. Yeah.
Like the last one I came out, I know the microphone kind of missed at the beginning, but I was pretty much just talking to the crowd, went over about who I beat, kind of run through the whole rundown again. Yeah. And then set up Gideon to come out, and we talked and set everything up and made people want to stand and get invested. Right. I look at myself as the only thing that I need to do is getting the crowd invested. And the simplest way of getting them invested is just making it spoon-fed. You knew I was a bad guy.
I knew he was a bad guy immediately.
It just going from there. You saw when Kilgore came out, he was a good guy.
He was a good guy. You could tell. Yeah.
And you wanted to cheer for the underdog coming there. And then the match happened. He had his little moment, and then I started beating the dog shit out of him. And then that's when you guys wanted to cheer for him. Even every time he kept kicking out, you guys kept cheering more and more, getting more into it until he finally had his moment, and then the whole collapse, and then like, oh, what the hell happened type. And that's the whole, that ride is the stuff that I want. Yeah. That's what I care about.
I like that. So, as we were talking about earlier when we first started, and I said the name, I guess my son had to go to the bathroom, and I missed, when I came out, Gideon was already in the ring with you.
Oh, yeah.
So I missed that. So can you tell me what happened with the name deal?
I do not go by Stonewall Remson anymore. There's 3 reasons. One, when I first started doing this, I was 300 pounds. I am nowhere near that size anymore. Like, so the whole idea of what I was doing, the type of presentation I was doing, plus Stonewall kind of got typecasted. It's just the Mark Henry hybrid type. And I move better, know how to actually do things. I'm trying to get past that part. And lastly, the confidence I'm getting and everything, I want people to know it's me.
Right. So that makes sense.
I pick my name, and eventually I may just shorten it to be Steve Remson because some reason people have trouble saying Stevon.
I think they just want to say Steve.
Yes, every time. Steven, Stefan, Stefan. Like, I just don't understand it's STEV, and then you seen that meme with the guy sweating? And button, they want to say N or AN when it's ON. It's not difficult, people. It's not. STEVON. That's it. Stevon. But I go by that. And the ring bully is more of a funny thing about the bully idea is something I used to be called in the military or sports because I'm a very competitive person and I'm direct. Other than that, I'm very low-key and very respectful and humble. But if I have a problem, I'll say something and I have this resting bitch face of mine, this size. Most people think I'm trying to be a bully because I'm just direct to it, like, hey, I need that. Oh, give me this. And people just joke around because of me being competitive. Like, I was like a bully. I just push people around or I get into my face. And some people don't know how to handle that because they're not used to somebody just being directly
in their face.
Yeah.
And, which is a military thing for sure.
Yeah, that's who I am. I mean, and I get that issue down. Like, people really be thinking I have a real problem with somebody.
Just solving it quick.
I just don't have time for it. I'm trying to get better with it, but I feel like, honestly, now I'm about to be 38. I was like, if I'm talking to another grown person and they get in their feelings, I'm just being direct to them, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, you can't baby people forever. What'd you do in the Marine Corps?
So my primary MOS is food service. From food service, I also, because every Marine's a rifleman, did security forces. I also was a marksmanship coach and did multiple deployments doing convoys and security. And from 2004 to 2014, I did 3 deployments in Iraq and 1 in Afghanistan, and I also helped out with Haiti in 2006 and stationed in Okinawa, which was a fun time. And that's pretty much, without going in detail, just give a little overview of the 10 years.
Yeah, I was an Army guy, but the Marines, I definitely got a lot of respect for you, for sure.
Same respect to you, bro.
Do you think that military probably played a part in you being the type of guy that fit into this character, right?
It definitely helps. Like I said, who I am is just, it is me. It's just, I turn up parts that I need to.
Right, it's like you were talking at the beginning. You were telling me about just, you exaggerate or like hyperfixate on like some part of you and that becomes the wrestling character.
Because I'm a competitive person. I'm more competitive myself now, of course, or anything like that. But like people see me get hyped, but I'm more like, if I let myself down, like, I know I can do better than this, I can do that. But that comes down the ring by trying to be better than a person. As I trash talk, I like talking. If I'm cool with you and we having fun, I like talking crap. I'm also very sarcastic. So I turn that up a little bit. And then I also could be very petty. And that's something I've been working on mental healing. But like 50 Cent's my idol type petty.
Oh, yeah.
If you ever start following social media, it's like I would do memes of people, I would do things like that. So I look at things like that and then I understand like me being very goal-orientated. Some people think I'm narcissistic because I'm kind of focused and being straightforward and to make it seem like, hey, I'm not worried about that because I need to do this. So I look at how people, and I asked actually friends of mine that know me for years, like, hey, negative qualities, tell me what you think they are. And told me, and then I was just like, okay, I'm going to turn this up, I'm going to turn this up, I'm going to turn this part up, I'm going to turn this part down.
Right.
Like, it took me a while for me not to even pay attention to kids because I love kids. But now I'm at the point, like, if I see a kid, I'm like, hey, we did this little small show at the Dancing Ranch Farm. Yeah,
I saw videos of it.
Yeah, and I got, I had put the picture, like, I really got in this kid's face because he was talking crap the whole time. And I just trying to punk him out. A couple years ago, I would never had the confidence and wouldn't do that. But now I'm just, it's kind of freeing. To, like, me going to the town, that was not scripted. That I literally just took the microphone and just went off the top of my head. Just stuff that I really think about. And now that I live here now and experiencing some things, next time I probably trash talk the town is going to be a little bit more personal because I'm actually learning more and more stuff.
You got a little bit of material to work with.
Yep.
That's funny. Yeah, dude. What did you say about him? What? Because I didn't you like fake apologize the second time at that other show? Yeah, I remember that because
I don't know exactly what I said, but yeah, Brad was saying basically.
There was one thing you said like trash or something like that.
I said, okay, yeah. I remember I said this place was cesspool, and I apologized. I was wrong for that, and I was like, it's less than cesspool. It's like the whole dumpster landfill or something like that. Yeah, just to set up the build up into that.
Yeah, doubling down. But no, like you say, you have to have villains. It would be a boring show if everybody was the crowd favorite.
And the thing about being a villain that people mess up, which I love, I get my heat, I get to beat somebody's ass, but I like receiving it back. So when somebody hits me, I feel like I give out the best. I make the person who gets their comeback look good. Like when Kill Bill gave me that spear, the pop there by the ass, and how I've sold and took the impact to make it look like it really hit. Because you have to make the other person look good. Because if I'm just whooping your ass and then you the other person, he don't make it look good and I don't make him look good, it's like, okay, why
does it look like a real fight?
Yeah, why are we cheering for him? I don't care. He sucks anyway. Like I get upset when people dead fish in the ring. That means I hit you and you just lay there and don't move.
Yeah, because their performance matters about your performance. I never thought about that. How they react is a part of and the way how you come across.
And
too.
The people we both going, like I've been in matches that was just flawless, great matches. Like I'm really looking forward to working with Rob Boris again. He was at the second one. The guy who took my belt in, the real annoying guy.
Oh, yeah, dude, he's annoying as hell. But I was like, what a character. In my head, I was thinking, like, this is a good character.
We had a match in Arkansas, at Ozark, Arkansas, back in January. Loved that match because he knows what he's doing. He understood the character. I was a good guy in that one. People didn't like him. Got behind. And even with my stuff, I didn't do much because I'm bigger than him. But the story that was told and how he set stuff up. If you ever want to go on my YouTube, you can find it, or I'll probably send you a link. You can watch it. Like that match was great, and it was so damn easy. I just did this misgender tag team match. That was a fun match, and it was easy. It just flows. But that goes back to what I was talking about the training thing.
Yeah,
it's people who got trained correctly know how to move and go. People who don't. Like I'm not gonna lie, there's been times that even when I first started, I forget it's doing like that. But once I started actually getting time is going. There's a time period because there's guys that's just been like 5 years and still doing the dead fish. It's like at some point either you was not taught this or you just don't need to be doing this. It's like that type of thing. And it's hard because if you're just laying there.
Do you ever say stuff to him like in the ring, like move, do something?
Or I'll just move him around where I need to go. And that's actually when most of the bully aspect came in because I would wrestle some guys who would just not do anything. So, all right, well, we're doing this now.
Yeah, you're coming over here.
Throwing you here and I would post clips and people would start going. And that's actually what kind of got their attention. Like, okay, I learned right there at certain things was Shane Taylor, I wrestled Shane Taylor, he taught me the importance of building a match and why it doesn't matter if you're winning the whole time or doing it because of the pop. Like, first time I wrestled Shane Taylor, he was trying to get me over and get a story told. And it was so simple. I didn't catch it. Second time we wrestled was in Fort Worth at Matt Pro Wrestling. Yeah, Matt Pro Wrestling in February of 2023. It's about 5 minutes long. The biggest pop I ever got. The match was great. The story was told. And by doing less, more got result. So I started understanding less is more. And then started realizing certain people like certain things from me or what I do that I could present. I give out a real believable attitude. I'm trying to beat your ass. Doing certain moves, doing certain things, and when I make the impact, I make it seem like I'm really hurting them taking the time. Before, I used to try to worry about move. And I seen matches, and a lot of guys love it, and they try to prod the boys. I'm not nothing wrong with it. Athleticism is great. But I've really seen matches, and I listen to the crowd. They'll say, yeah, oh, wow, to all the big flips. That's like that, but they're lost throughout. Like, audible confusion of what's going on, what's happening there. Anybody can try to say my match may be quickly boring, but I've never had a match in the past 6 months now that didn't make any noise or reaction from the crowd. It works. And I rather get the crowd invested in who I am versus get them amazed by me doing all this athleticism.
Yeah.
It's great. I'm not knocking it at all. And when eventually I'll probably do when I like showing off every now and then doing certain things, but it's not my primary thing. So just trying to keep things simple for going to it. That was a very complex answer to what you ask. But I hope
I forgot the question, but I've been listening to the answer for a minute. What did I ask? Was it about the character?
About doing the character, the moves. So I think it was like that.
Okay, yeah. But no, hell, I mean, shoot, long answers means that it's going good. That's how I gauge it on my end. If somebody, because I do get in these, and sometimes somebody will just be like, "How do you feel about being a villain?" I don't know. It could be better. And they look at me, and I'm like, "Ooh, next question."
You know what happens? That's the perfect example when somebody dead fish in wrestling.
Yeah.
So
I have dead fish.
Yeah, that's it. They dead fish.
And I just have to fight through it, and it, that's connecting big time because it's like, all right, next question, and then eventually I'll just start ranting. You know what I'm saying?
Because your time is off now. You don't know what's going on.
Eventually, I will. Like if somebody doesn't bring like, I don't know, like enough energy, or they're not giving me long enough answers, then I'll start talking more because it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna have a show.
Yeah,
but you've had a lot to say, so I haven't said much, and that's better for me in an interview. But like if I talk the whole time, it's probably not a good thing. But if you dead fish, I have to react. Yeah, I like that. The dead fish, it does make sense. Man, you said a lot there, so I'm trying to draw more questions out of that. But you know, sometimes when I play basketball, because I play basketball a lot. Sometimes it's easier to play somebody that knows how to play basketball too, because I can kind of gauge what they're about to do.
Yep.
And when I play people, sometimes like the wild cardness of somebody like being really unathletic and just trying to stay in front of me is harder to beat than that. And that's
actually very good and 100% true. That's why actually I don't do as much. I did more in the match with Kilgore. If you don't remember, I did more in the match with Kilgore than I did with Gideon. It's nothing even to Gideon to play. It's just, I know Kilgore well enough what we're doing, and I can do it. And he's at funny enough, Kilgore was my very first wrestling match.
Really?
You know, if you watch the first that match, and then this one is like a complete night and day.
Yeah.
So I know who he is, know what he can do.
He seems like a good guy, and he's a guy to root for, too. He's got like a good guy vibe, big time.
I never wrestled Gideon like that before. Never knew what much to do it, try to make where to go. But then there's plenty of stuff that I want to do, and there's stuff that I have tried to do with people that's not on that caliber, and I can't do it.
Right.
And now I'm strong enough, and I've learned now that sometimes with certain moves, I'm just going to get you in it because I know how to do it. It took years. When I first started training, I would just lift people up.
Right.
And that's not how it goes.
No, they have to. So they need to be on the same page, right?
Yeah.
As far as lifting.
Now that I know some people, I can just gauge it. Like when you suck, you can't lead a match. And then when you start getting good, you still can't lead a match. When you start actually getting better at it, that's when you start learning. Like Bret Hart made this guy named Tom McGee look like he was $1 million back in the early 80s, or late 80s, early 90s. Guy sucked. But Bret Hart was so good in the ring, he made this guy look like $1 million.
Wow.
And I've started to learn how to do that. There's matches that I had in the past that was really bad because both us was green and knew what was doing, or it was bad because I thought I can lead and I did not know how to lead. That I wish I can go back and do now, because now there's some matches that I've had. I've traveled to. I actually had one in Springfield I went to. It was not good at all. It was not. Oh my God, it was not good.
And that was recent?
Yeah, that was a couple months ago in Springfield, Illinois. It was not good, but the guy was nice, good guy, but it was not a good match. And he was hurt and still wanted to wrestle.
Yeah.
And did what we had to do to tell the story, but that was me doing a lot of ranting. Because that was me talking to the crowd, really reacting. That's when I started getting better at just like, okay, this is not going to work this way. I'm going to get the reaction this way. It even got to moments like they was wanting to cheer for him and just build it up. But yeah, it was me a year or so ago, that was not going to be a good match. Like I made it palatable to watch. But if it was me a year ago when I was definitely still thinking I was still doing move by move, that was not.
So you show up to these different events and like, so I'm sure you go wrestle places you never wrestled before. That's happening, right? How awkward is that? Is there like a barrier that you have to break through?
Oh, 100%. So I like my character because, like I said, it's basically me. And I even Dustin Rose and Reynolds, he even said that I'd probably be a good tweener, and I've been that because I have a very nonchalant, I don't give a fuck attitude, but all at the same time, very competitive, will beat your ass. And people gravitate towards me because they seem I'm more realistic. Because I'm not even trying to brag or be humble, but a lot of people end up liking me because it's something they can feel that's real.
Yeah.
And I get cheered behind it, or I get booed when I need to get booed. I got cheered choking somebody before. Like this. This is where the confusion comes in my mind. But going forward, just what was the original question? I'm sorry.
Showing up in new places, but I already thought of some more questions.
Going to a new place, I don't know how I'm gonna get over. So if I always ask if I'm a good guy, a bad guy,
right?
But if I'm a bad guy, I usually don't try to do much. I just bash the crowd because I just feel stupid being or taunting. I don't like taunting.
Right.
Now when I start wrestling, I get the crowd innovated. I can tell some crowds like a lot of spots. Boom, boom, boom. And I watch matches before. Now I'm on the first match, and that's fucking like betting on spades, like you're blind. You're just going.
Yeah, you don't know what the vibe is. You don't know nothing.
I had with the Colorado, and God, that was a long ass drive. That was a 16-hour drive.
16 hours.
I went to Colorado. And I was the main event there, and then they had a monitor. I watched every match, but while I was watching every match, I'm paying attention to what the crowd cheered for, what they were quiet about, what they really got engaged. I noticed they loved athleticism, but they wanted something they can feel the hits. So hits, I was like, okay, I'm good on that part. And they like engagement. So I was like, okay, they want the crowd to be part of the show.
Right.
Some crowds don't care about that. Like, I can go to a place if I do my pose or after I taunt something, sometimes I don't get no boo. They be like,
people just look at you.
Yeah.
Now you get booed here.
And then I know, okay, you guys like talking, so I'll talk shit, and that's why I get reactions. And like, okay, so you like shit talking. So I'll gauge based on what I'm doing in the match, and I already have like in my toolbox of things that I like doing, and I'm exaggerating, I'm getting better. Everywhere I go, I'm learning something, or I'm improving something. It's like doing stand-up comedy.
Right.
So I go somewhere, they're going to a new place, and they work it to the point that now that they have this.
Dang, that is probably that's probably a really good comparison.
Oh, it's also
they have to break the ice. They have to read the room. They have to do that quick too. You have to do that quick. You can't go out there and do the wrong thing for too long.
Arsenals already from doing things like a lot of jokes go through a lot of towns till they get crafted to where you finally see on Netflix.
Yeah.
What that joke is now, but before it was something completely different.
You listen to a lot of comedy podcasts?
Yeah, I do. I listen to stand up. I did stand up a few times. Actually.
Oh, you did stand up. Oh, wow.
No, I am a living side quest person.
Oh, Dad just out doing side quests, huh? Just out trying shit.
From music to stand up to short film. I want to get back to doing that more after do the wrestling more. But yeah, if I wanted to do it, I have tried it.
Yeah, stand-up is hard. Stand-up's crazy hard. I do like a comedy podcast where we just try to keep it light and fun, but like I listen to a ton of comedians do podcasts, and the way they talk about stand-up is like, it is just like this incredibly super hard thing.
It's not what people think it is. Like a lot of guys be saying, you're funny, you should go do stand-up. That is not the same as doing stand-up.
Crafted. It's just like you said, they go get, like, and then it'd be killing me. It'd be people that are famous. They get on their podcast and they'll be like, oh yeah, I bombed last week. And I'm like, what do you mean? You're like, you could do a stadium and you bombed.
You still got to tell a story. Even, you got some comedians that just, like Dane Cook, I never considered him that funny, but I know people did. But he was just a shoot shorter type random thing. But most comedians, like, the ones at least I like, George Carlin, Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, Eddie Murphy. It's a story. Eddie Griffin's one of my favorite, like Bernie Mac. You just set up everything. So they know what the punchline is. It's also like doing lyrics for music. Like, you know what the meaning is. Now you're just trying to get to the point of doing a point like that. So, like, perfect example, when I did the, talking about we were talking about earlier, the trash of town. And I need you to apologize. I opened it up by saying, I need to apologize. Brought you in. Made it seem I was sincere about things.
Yeah, because I thought you really was going to apologize.
I made everything just
like,
to lay it into it and then double down and just make the pause. Like, it got into it. And that's usually I like stand up, go to work, or doing a punch line in a rap bar. Like, you boom, 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 here's going there. And then
the setup and then the
and that's pretty much everything I try to do in the ring has a point to what it's building up. I don't want to, like I said earlier, I don't like assaulting intelligence. I look at it like what I would look at, and me, the things I liked about wrestling that caught me, realistically, a DDT is going to knock somebody the hell out.
Right, yeah.
But so if it's done correctly, I'm cool with it. If it's done in the first 2 minutes of a match and then they're going to a superplex after that and then doing a fucking flip after that, I don't care anymore because
it does have to be believable. The U.S. I told Jewel, I don't know if you know Jewel. Jewel works the was working the soundboard at the last deal. Me and him, I interviewed him and we was talking about wrestling. He's big into wrestling. But anyways, I told him the UFC getting popular is what made me realize that WWE was fake, because I was all gung-ho WWE. Then I saw like Chuck Liddell, like Superman punch somebody. And I was like, oh, that's what happens when you hit a grown man
so
like that.
I don't really like punchings, like doing real punches, so I'd rather do 400 clubs, because ideally in my mind, if I punch somebody enough times and I used to fight, it's going to be fucking bruises.
Yeah, they would go down. Yeah.
And this, you see guys getting punched all day and then back up. And let's be honest, it's not no shade, because nobody needs to be fighting like that, or nobody needs to grow up fighting. If you compete, you understand. But a lot of guys getting in wrestling never fought before, especially young guys. So they're athletic, but they don't understand the idea of what happens in a real fight of going there. That's why if you see me get kicked in the head, I don't just go right back to the match. I sell that, because getting kicked in the head is not fun.
Yeah, if you get kicked in the head for real, you're going to feel it.
Yeah. Like, I'll take bumps on certain things because it's realistic in my mind. I'll try to make it entertaining about overselling, or think about old, like, like you watching like KO clips, you just find the funniest fucking knockouts. Yeah. I look at that. I like studying those. But I still try to base off some of my realism. But because it's entertaining. Like, I try to make the person look good, still make myself entertained, but I still want to be real.
Yeah. I like the whole don't insult the crowd intelligence. I like that, because it can get so goofy that they could lose interest. It has to have that element of, it's just like watching a movie. If you want people to take your movie seriously, it's got to look like, it could happen.
Everything on wrestling has its purpose in place. Like, I would never knock another wrestler or another worker's idea of what they want to do. Like, some guys love to go out there and they're joke wrestling. Like, they just want to do pranks or stops or get the crowd to laugh, and they do cute shit. There's guys out there that they just want to be athletics because that's where they grew up. They think that's how it's done, but they look Shawn Michaels, the Hardy Boys, and then now they want to do all the flips and everything and get it better. Then you got people who see Mick Foley now, hardcore shit. A lot of them forget the aspect of what wrestling was for these things, but that is a whole other conversation. I'm only saying it's a variety. If you watch everybody have the same attitude as me, you're not going to get those shows. It's like, okay, I'm watching this. But because you have somebody like me and the whole thing's going here for this person, then you have somebody who's a fun, delightful person like Dia Hartley going out there and you cheer do the cartwheels. Then you have people like Matt Kimo that get people excited. Then you have people you just can't stand because he's annoying like Rob. You have all these different elements that make you still invested, and you can like some more than people. But if everybody's exactly the same, or all the stories the same, you're going to get lost too, because now just nothing different.
Yeah.
I hope
it's like contrast. Yeah, they keep them interested, because you got to have a good mix of stuff.
I realized I had my point across with the crowd was after Kilgore got powerbombed through the damn trash can, and I came out and everybody got quiet and tried to tell Brady to look out because they was worried about what I'm going to do. And that was important to me, because now these guys are scared the fact that I'm coming out here, even though he just got powerbombed. That means I obviously did my job as being a threat. Even though I talk crack or make myself look goofy, the idea that I'm a legitimate threat got over. And to me, that's always important. That means now I can have paint get thrown on me, or I can make myself look stupid, because like Kurt Angle, love Kurt Angle.
One of the most hated, best wrestlers there is.
Kurt Angle can go through all the embarrassing stuff, but if you see Kurt coming out there, you know he's probably going to whoop your ass.
Yeah.
But everything embarrassing you can think of, Kurt Angle's done. The hair shave, wear a little hat, the guitar, like every little clown thing, but he's already established. I feel like I'm starting to get to that point now. I can be established of just being a threat always. Now I can have fun, get people behind me in different ways and by my character evolving.
I like that.
Yeah.
Man, the You Suck deal was crazy. Like I mean, like in a stadium, I went and seen them in Dallas one time, and like it was crazy. The whole stadium's packed out, and everyone's yelling, "You suck!" And just on beat
to the song.
Yeah.
Funny fact about that song, random wrestling fact. That song was originally to this wrestling called The Patriot in 1997. There was a guy who used to come out with a Patriot mask, like a star mask, and he was around the early days of Stone Cold. He even teamed up with Stone Cold, Ken Shamrock, somebody else against the Hart Foundation. And then he disappeared one day. Never seen again.
Never seen.
And then Kurt Angle ended up getting some music when he came.
Oh, wow. I wonder about, I don't know. I wonder how those famous contracts work. Like, I wonder if it is like in music where you could like get a bad contract and they could blow you up for a little bit, then you just go away. Or I don't even know how that works.
A wrestling contract or a contracted wrestler, they are. That's why I was actually at the issue with WWE a while back with Vince was the whole idea of independent contracting, but still can't do anything. So like a WWE contract, to get back on topic, they will sign you for a certain amount of time. So if you are going to developmental, which most people do, unless you're a bigger name, but most everybody goes to NXT, you get signed to maybe a 3 to 5 year contract there to go through NXT. Now you have a base price of what you are signed there. This is not recent. This is something from a couple years ago. So when I say these numbers, it's not nothing recent. But like it used to be $75,000 just the base number. And while you're there, you are given dates. You meet these dates. Now, what can happen is if you can't meet those dates because of injury or stuff like that, then it can be added to your contract because you didn't meet those dates. That's why they had that 90. You ever heard of that 90-day no compete clause? That's usually because guys missed dates, they were hurt, and they just holding on to it and just trying to kill the serve. Now, there's people that have been released that I had to remind myself about that they never missed dates. Now they can be released and do what they want to do. It also depends on your contract written because now you have bonuses. Now the bonuses are split up differently. Like WWE gives bonuses, or they used to give you bonuses for royalties for movies, royalties for being on a cover or something. Video games used to give a lot of royalties. When they used to sell DVDs and VHS, that's why people was upset when the WWE Network started because a wrestler would get money for being on a Unforgiven VHS or DVD. Every time it got sold, it was like music. Every time something got sold that had wrestler's identity or look, they got a percentage of it. WWE got the most, obviously, because they owned it. A wrestling contract is literally almost like a music contract. You get a percentage of what's being paid here plus its base rate. Now, when they go fly somewhere, they'll pay for the flight, but within their town. So let's say Florida, the Texas area, they want to work Texas. There's Texas, they're going to work most of Texas, Oklahoma, Alabama, all this little area, Arkansas. They have to buy their own rental car. Wow. They have to pay for the gas, have to pay for the travel. Now, they go fly somewhere doing that. Now, places are catering. So you get this base paid, you got that. Then you also got to think about it. You have to pay taxes. You're an independent contractor, so now you have to pay your own taxes on every state. Now you got to make sure you keep track of doing the money and moving that way. So it gets a little tricky. And that's why I always try to keep my idea of business sense of everything, because at the end of the day, it's a money thing. And then that's when it comes to people talking about, now I don't get myself over. You try to get yourself on every show. Like if you do a house show, you get a little extra money there. Now they got a thing called bucket, where every time you do a house show, you get appearance, they put this money in here. And once it gets to a certain point, anything outside of that, you keep. So I think that's a way to save money, because now I think I saw somewhere that the base contract for a main event, not main event, for main roster, so not NXT, the minimal, but like Raw, SmackDown, it's $350,000 minimum now. This is a good chunk of money. Yeah. Like, I'll be happy to just get on there. I would not care about win or lose at all. That'll be good. But it just, contracts are like music contracts. There's royalties, there's stipulations, there's things you don't see, and if you don't understand what's being read, you need to sue it. So some people have got bad contracts. There's been arguments about contracts doing that, and if you also will sign your life away, you won't miss what's happened. There's a standard contract. You can argue stuff. Like Jade Cargill, she was able to talk about her contract, and she don't have to worry about her name. She got that. She was able to work and doing it. So she don't have to have a business. AEW contracts have similar things, but their stuff is different. Not Ring On, because AEW has that.
You could though get signed to one of these big deals and like lose the rights to your name and all that stuff, huh?
And then control character and things like that. In some places let you get signed, you keep things and you can go, but they can tell you where you can't work and can't. Like WWE, that's pretty much a military. Once you're a WWE, that's it. AEW actually lets some of their wrestlers go wrestle other places. Sometimes they have to win, but they can go there, like MLW, NWA, you go wrestle other places, but they also got to okay it. There's been times that...
And you can't go to some smaller deal and lose, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to go in there and win.
Especially if you're a champion of it.
Yeah, okay.
Now, like, sometimes if you're not a champion, you're not even being used like that, nobody's going to give a damn if you lose there, but if you already on there, like, it's just part of their contract type thing.
Heck yeah. I feel like I learned a lot. Anything you want to say to the people, man? To Texarkana people?
Look me up. Stevon, Stevon, Remson, Remson, Instagram and Facebook, or Ring Bully Remson. You can find myself on YouTube, Instagram, and all the videos. Run My Face shirts being sold throughout. So if you see one, you want one, holler at me. And I love making fun of everybody here, and I love being here and being a champion. Also, we do have shows coming up. Juneteenth, from this Friday at Ashdown at the high school there in the afternoon from 2 to 4. And then we're coming down to Cross Ties area downtown for the nighttime for the Juneteenth Festival. We're going to have 2 wrestling shows. You can have to catch it. Just go follow the Hype and Glory Facebook page, Instagram page to find it. Then also following up after that, it's a 3-day weekend of fun activities. I'm so happy saying that. It's a lot of driving I got to do. But July 19th, Hype and Glory returns back to the Legion Center.
Yep, I'll be there.
At home. That's going to be another television recording. Then it's going to be a Hype Con the next day, July 20th and July 21st, downtown as well. There will also be wrestling on both days.
I'll be there too.
On Saturday and Sunday. So 3 days of wrestling and Hype and Glory fun.
I'll be there too.
One of those Saturdays, I'll be in what's that place? Lubbock. So I won't be. So I'll be there Friday. I'll be gone and coming back on Sunday. So like I said, I had a lot of driving for me, but
I can't say it all the way out. But I'll be involved in HypeCon this year, so that'd be cool. So on something, but I can't tell you yet.
I'll see you there on Sunday. Then.
Yeah, it'll be cool. But man, I appreciate you coming on. I feel like I learned a lot about wrestling. I had to have you back on. What else, man? What else? I think we hit all my talking points. You hit all your stuff. It's a lot of fun, man. I like the scene around here. I like, like I said, I take my kids. They love it. I take my friends. We get involved. We yell. We boo. We're loud too. Do you notice us in the back?
Well, now that I'm talking to you here, I noticed y'all seen you before, but now I'm talking to you, I'm gonna pay more attention. But I listen to everything. Yeah,
we're in the back and we're loud. But I mean, it's just like we came in and we didn't know what to expect. And like when I saw like the other, because really the other fans kind of set the pace for it. They were already loud and like really interactive, which is cool. And I was like, oh, we can come in here and talk and be rowdy a little bit too. And that's so yeah, my group is.
We love it. Y'all start bringing signs. We want people to bring signs. We want people to, like how you said, like just the interactive. We want the show. The hype is y'all. Yeah. Like, we want you guys to be hype. We want to be right at you. We want the crowd to be more a part of it. Like just, go crazy.
We need signs then. That's what we're gonna show up with signs next time. You said the next one is July 19th because it's starting. Okay, yeah. I'll bring my kids, and my friends. We'll be in there ready to talk some. So we'll be in the bleachers in the back. That's our spot.
Gotcha.
Over by the concession stand because I can't get too far from the concessions.
I understand.
But yeah, bro, I definitely appreciate you coming on, man. I learned a lot. I love wrestling. It's good stuff. I have you back on, and
love it, man.
So for the channel, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, let you know when all the videos drop, do all that cool shit. Interviews, they drop normally Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I try to do 3 a week. Sometimes it's just 2 a week. But man, everybody that's tapped into me, everybody that's tapped into the channel, I truly, truly, truly appreciate you. I'm super blessed that I'm getting, the support that I am getting. It is cool. And I'm trying to kill them with volume right now. It's like just interview. So that's the goal, man. But y'all be blessed. Y'all have a great day. And I'm glad you tapped in, man. Appreciate you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Y'all have a good one now.
Yes, sir.